Hi everyone,
My name's Alex.
and my name is Luis,
And we're Titas on Lockdown. Right, so today we mark the anniversary of the lockdown. So when it started, so it's actually this week. I think for us it was March 16, but anyway, it's this week. So I thought we'd talk about everything that happened since the lockdown started and what we've been doing since then, right? So, first question. Where were you and what were you doing when the lockdown was announced?
I was at home, and we were in the middle of planning our trip for Indonesia. And when we heard about the lockdown, I think what happened was they set a date for it, like several days before the actual lockdown was supposed to happen. So I was planning the trip with my mom and my brother, and the start of the lockdown was between the dates when when we're leaving and coming back to the Philippines. So, yeah, we decided not to go with the trip because if we do go out of the country, we're not sure if we could still come back.
Yeah, you'd be stranded.
Yeah, we'll probably be stranded in Indonesia. And then what happened was a few days later, the volcano erupted in the area where we were supposed to go. So.
Yeah. For me, I was home too. I'm very fortunate that I can work from home, and our company has been pretty supportive with everything, including sending us our own equipment, and then certain allowances were given to us, like a generous IT allowance for like peripherals. We were also given well-being allowance. Basically, it's just for stuff that we needed for our mental and physical health. So we also were given a utilities allowance, to make up for like electricity and internet bills. But so it's been pretty good actually. So that's pretty much it.
Did you think it was gonna go on as long as it did?
No, not exactly. When we had the ECQ, which was the Enhanced Community Quarantine, don't ask me what that means because I'm still confused. I didn't want to predict, what was going to happen when we were on ECQ, mostly because of how the government handled it. It was a mess, and so it was difficult to predict anything. But when we passed June, and daily cases were rising, I knew we were going to be in this for the long haul, and maybe early 2021, and I was being pessimistic. Now though, with the vaccine sort of available, my office has been saying that we'll probably return to the office by August. Again, we don't know. But I definitely did not think that it would last an entire year. But I was just being pessimistic, but not 365 days of it.
Yeah. My friends and I were thinking that the pandemic or any sort of lockdown would be over sometime in May. So we're thinking, okay, let's give this 3 months. So May, June, we're probably in the clear. And it went on. And I'm sort of thankful that even though I'm not a regular employee anywhere, the clients that I have, I only have one client, really. So I write freelance. So I'm just thankful that the company I work with still continues to hire people and wasn't really that affected by the pandemic. But yeah, the fear was there, like after June, and that the pandemic is still going on, like maybe my job isn't that secure. And for a short moment, I was regretting my decision to go freelance. So yeah, it went on and on until now. So we didn't even think that it's gonna last until December, because I remember I have a roommate who joked that maybe I'll still spend my birthday indoors, and his birthday's in December. So we were like, no, that's not gonna happen. And then it did. And then it's March.
So what, if any, were the biggest changes that the lockdown brought about?
In my life, I think I am very extroverted. So I think one of the big changes is I am unable to go out with my friends or to meet a lot of people. This happens like once a week.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those. I'm also unable to go visit my parents because they live in a different island way south of where I am right now, which is in Quezon City. So I have to fly there and I have to take a plane. I think you need to be quarantined still.
Not for me. I mean, not exactly changes, but well, there were a few changes. Same with Luis. I live in Rizal, but my parents live in the Visayas area, so I still couldn't visit them. I couldn't go for Christmas or any other time because not only do I have to take a plane, I have to take a boat as well to go to Sikihor, which is where my father lives. But I think mostly for me, it's a vindication of things I've always believed. First and foremost, stupid people are dangerous. Like, certain acts of stupidity should be criminalized. And on a lighter, less political note, and this is mostly like self-serving for me, work from home is possible for most jobs, especially office jobs. Telecommuting is possible, even easy. So this should be an option, you know. Again, I'm very lucky because I have a position in my company that's, you know, I'm pretty, like, my time is flexible. I don't really have to like log in or anything. I just need to work, and I can work anywhere there's an internet connection. So I think that should be possible for everyone. So I think that's the biggest change now, that people now have the infrastructure, or have always had the infrastructure, to be able to work from home.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah, it was the same for me because prior to the pandemic, I was already working from home. So I don't get why companies are so adamant to have an office because it still could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if your main issue is controlling people or making sure that they're not playing hooky at work, I mean, it's still going to happen, even if it's an office.
Yeah.
And there are other ways to ensure that your people are properly working.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you can always track people's productivity. You
Yeah,
don't have
exactly.
to track their exact whereabouts. Just, you know, the fact that they're working. If they produce what they're supposed to produce at the end of the day, shouldn't that be enough? I mean,
Yeah,
that should be. I
exactly.
mean, now we know that it is enough. And I think, especially with the transportation issue in the Philippines,
Oh,
you
especially
know,
here in the metro.
yeah, it's bad. The traffic is bad. There's so many inconveniences about this whole thing that working from home is viable. I think it should be an option given to people, like, either, like, not even fully work at home, at least, you know, have some days where people can just stay home.
So during the pandemic, did you try any trends?
No, not really.
Why not?
I don't know how to bake. So because of the whole, you know, like, baking craze, I don't know how to bake, and I don't have the equipment to bake. So I didn't join in on that craze. I have TikTok, but I use it to lurk. I don't post anything because, I mean, I have fun watching the challenges, but I know that I would not do them because I am me.
You're not alone. I lurk as well
Yeah.
because I could just watch and be creepy about it.
Yeah, I download stuff, but you know, that's a whole nother conversation. We did start a YouTube channel, but this was this year. It wasn't last year. We never even thought about it last year because we were
Yeah.
really like stringent with the whole lockdown and not going anywhere, you know.
Yeah, and then boredom overtook us, and then we were drinking. Why don't we start a YouTube channel? This thing that we've been thinking about before, when we were still working at the same office.
Yeah. So what did you do to occupy yourself when you couldn't go out?
I kind of explored baking. I know it has been a trend, and for the most part, I was kind of resistant towards baking, but because it's my family's business, and when you grow up surrounded by bread, you're not really excited about it. So, but then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, it's your family's business, so it would be a shame if you, the child of baker business persons, don't know how to bake. It would be an insult to your
heritage,
legacy, your parents' legacy.
I kind of started the lockdown diaries. I forget the isolation journal. This was from Suleika Jaweed, I think. I'm not sure about her last name, but her first name is Suleika. But anyway, I started the isolation journals. Didn't finish them, but I always took all of the prompts because maybe one day I'll do them. Maybe not in isolation, but I did them. But I also started buying hardbound books because I was a comparative literature major when I was in college, and when I was in college I read mostly to analyze stuff, not really for pleasure. And during that time, and I'm sure it was illegal then, it is illegal now, but we couldn't afford the books that we were reading, not that they were easily available, so we would have them photocopied and have them as readings. Like we would have them bound depending on the books that we were reading. So I always wanted my own copy of those books. So when I started working and started making money of my own, no longer a poor college student, I said I am going to buy hardbound books. So I've been buying them. Most of them I've already read before, but I just thought, it would be nice to have them in physical form.
Oh, also I remember that during the lockdown, I was thinking like, maybe this is a good time to explore other writing jobs. So I attended a writing workshop, and it was about memoirs, and I wrote about that. So yeah, so I had to dig deep into my childhood. Let's just say that I learned a lot of things about myself.
I also started working out, but mostly I bought exercise equipment, right?
What was your exercise? Online purchases?
Yes, mostly. So I bought a rowing machine, and for my birthday I bought a standing punching bag. And on Sundays, I would use my bow staff and my walk-in upstairs just so I wouldn't look like a madman if I did it downstairs.
Yeah, speaking of exercise, the first few months of lockdown, we decided that besides the usual washing your hands, avoiding big crowds, wearing masks, our best defense against the pandemic is to be healthy. So what we did was we would plan our meals and do regular exercise. So for the first, I think a few weeks, we were doing HIIT, high intensity interval training. I think it worked. I lost, I think, 10 or 15 pounds. But the thing is, with me, I have a lot to conquer. Number one is I'm downright lazy. So that is something I had to deal with. And obviously that's part one. Also, I wouldn't think I'd call myself an eater or that I'm a greedy person. I just have a need to consume food. So after the whole dieting thing, after the whole meal planning, I was just like, you know what? I feel sad, so I'm gonna eat. And that's not even an excuse, just feeling sad, because sometimes I'm not even sad. I just want to consume. I just want to stuff food in my mouth. So yeah, I did that.
Me, I ate a lot too because I discovered that my village, it's actually like a series of condominium buildings, but it's Cambridge Village, that we have a Facebook page, and people were selling stuff on that Facebook page, and I thought, oh wow. And they sold everything. Like they sold seafood. So every week I was buying seafood, and almost every day I would buy 2 1-liter milk tea. I tried every single seller of milk tea in Cambridge. So while exercising, and then when I stopped after 3 months, because my obsessions only run for 3 months, I stopped exercising and still continued with the milk tea thing. So yeah, no jawline, no cheekbones. I'm now chubby. I have passed chubby.
By the time that we reached Halloween last year, I tried to do more paper mache stuff. So for the Halloween decorations, my roommate and I thought that, what's a good theme for this Halloween? So we were thinking Pan's Labyrinth. So I did some sculptures. What I had was I did a life-size sculpture of the fawn, And I also did like a sitting sculpture of the pale man. So he's the guy with the eyes on his palms.
I took up knitting again, like actual knitting, because I used to knit using those like, like contraptions, and I never finished one. I never finished any of the knitting stuff that I did during the lockdown.
And by the time that Christmas happened, so I started doing my arts and crafts stuff again. So I did snowflakes.
So, with everything that we've done or not done during the lockdown, now that we kind of are seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, what's the first thing you're going to do when we go to the new normal?
Well, besides YouTube stardom, probably traveling. Whenever I go out of the country, I usually do it with my mom. The reason we started in the first place was after she got cancer, she's finally more open to new experiences. So what we used to do prior to the lockdown is for a year we would visit at least 4 countries. So yeah, we were unable to do that because of the pandemic, and once we have the clear to do so, we're gonna do that again. But I think determining where to go should be a main consideration, because once everyone is free to travel, people are gonna go out in droves. And for me, my consideration for that would be we need to go to places where it's not that popular, or like go during the down season, not during winter, but early fall, I think. Yeah.
And for me, it's the same, travel, because before the pandemic, I usually would go out of the country towards winter, mostly because I like traveling during the winter, because then I would have an excuse to wear coats, because I have quite a few of them,
Yeah.
and they're just gathering dust.
As tropical fishes, we want to layer because we don't get to do that here.
Yeah, so my plan for 2020 was to actually visit my friend in Sweden, because they've been planning for my visit for years now, and I kept postponing it because I would go to other countries. But then I had a plan, I had an itinerary, everything. And then the pandemic hit, and it was depressing to, when I would flip through my planner, and I would see, plans like get insurance, like travel insurance, go get visa, and then December started, because December I was supposed to go in December. I saw day 1 Paris. So I was like, ah! So yeah, traveling. I would like to go traveling again.
I mean, we weren't rich growing up, so travel for us is very, very new. And I remember the first time I got to Europe, I was like, I made it! We're not poor anymore!
I know.
So yeah, there's that feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I went to the US in April, I think. I spent 2 weeks in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I went to DC. I had lots of fun, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And then the same year, I went to London with my friend John, and I had a blast. And we could have gone to Scotland, but we didn't have enough days. Not even enough money. We had enough money, we didn't have enough vacation days. So, and I took that for granted, that I can do this every year.
Yeah.
All I need to do is save up and have enough vacation days. And then the year after that, I went to South Korea, and I was like, cool. Next, I will definitely go to Sweden and visit my friends. Then the pandemic hit. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely travel. I don't know what the new normal looks like. I'm hoping that it has enough semblance to the old normal, with the exception of, I don't know, like I said, work from home being the norm.
Yeah.